I am part of the Intifada generation. This is not something which I say lightly. It's something that comes from my heart. I am incredibly proud to be an Israeli, but 5 years ago, my parents made a very difficult and life-changing decision. It came about following the outbreak of the Second Intifada in the year 2000. That was the year when my father started looking for a way out of the country in which he was born. The Intifada affected us all. We lived in fear and we lost our loved ones. Nowhere was safe and nothing seemed definite anymore. My father once said that you could ride the bus to school and come back in a coffin. The tipping point for my parents was when a 21-year-old Hamas suicide bomber blew himself up on a bus in Haifa. He killed 15 people and injured 40. Many of them were local university students that were not much older than I was at the time. When my father returned home from work that day, he told my mother that our family had to get out of this madhouse. My mother objected. She said, "Why should we leave? We have a good life here." She simply could not face reality. That madhouse was Israel, and this was our reality, our abnormal reality. The decision they made was to move to Canada. They believe, like I do, that no one, let alone a child, should live in such fear. Just as they did not want this to be my future, I don't want this to be the future for my children. Growing up, I did not meet Palestinians. I didn't know who they were other than the enemy. At school, our textbooks did not teach us much about them or their history. We learned about heroic grandparents who made the desert bloom and who created a homeland out of a wasteland. But that history wasn't enough to keep my family in Israel. So my quest for a home had to start all over again, but in a new country. I came to Canada to get away from home. But 6 months into university, I found myself advocating for Israel on my campus. I met Palestinians and I met other Middle Eastern students, and I started participating in peace programs. A whole new world just opened up to me about Israel and about the Palestinian experience, which I knew nothing about. It turned out that I never really left home, but rather brought home with me. And I am still eagerly investigating. And what I am discovering is that stories that Palestinians have been telling me are so dramatically different from those that I had heard before. And these are not scary stories. They're stories about young people's dreams, about their hopes, and about their triumph over personal traumas that they've endured. The stories that drove me out of Israel have now been transformed into stories that are drawing me back. And they're full of hope and they're full of optimism. These stories continuously feed my determination for living in Israel. And I understand that they are feeding the same yearnings amongst my Palestinian friends. I believe that we all have a right for our homeland, all of us. The Palestinian quest for a home is just as valid as the Jewish quest for a home. We share the same ambitions, the same yearnings, and the same traumas. And we share a ceaseless quest to find a place that we can call our own. This is why I joined New Story Leadership. I joined because I'm an optimist, and I refuse to give up. And as Mahatma Gandhi said, an eye for an eye will only make the whole world blind. We, the young generation, have to break the cycle. I joined NSL to meet people just like me, who want to see change in the Middle East. The other day, NSL held its first political debate on settlements and terrorism, and it was pretty intense. Someone in the audience that heard us got up and he said, "You all sound exactly like your parents. Is there no hope?" To which I want to reply, we want to sound like the future, not the past. And the very fact that we're all here means that we have hope and that we have a vision. But sometimes it is hard for the voices of the future to be recognized. and we're all brave. And we dare to envision a common future where Israelis and Palestinians can live side by side as neighbors, as friends, and as business partners. And we are running out of patience. I am an optimist, but at the same time, I'm not naive. Israel and the Palestinian Authority have massive problems. And I believe that a solution to these problems begins with us knowing each other, not across checkpoints and not at negotiation tables. By then, it becomes too late. By then, we are dealing with demons and with stereotypes. We need to know each other long before that, as children, as friends, and as colleagues. We need to know each other as people, as human beings. I have been in DC for about 3 weeks now, and I have 9 new friends from the Middle East. 5 of them are Palestinian. This is something I never thought would happen to me. I share a house with Asil, a Palestinian woman from Ramallah, who in Israel I would probably have never met. And I see how much alike we are. We're both educated, and we're driven, and we're eager for change. To come on this program, we've all had to propose how we were going to change the Middle East for the better. And for me, it is all about education. My project for change is to set up the first after-school program in Bethlehem in the West Bank for underprivileged youth. Students will learn leadership skills, and they will improve their community. I'm doing this in collaboration with my Palestinian friend Sharuk, and we both know how valuable education is, and this is what drives us to continue and work on this project. We want to make school a better place for these students, and not a place that breeds frustration, rage, and war. We recognize that many children from refugee camps need after-school programs that are fun, welcoming, safe, and creative. And here is where Americans can help us. We need equipment like computers, soccer balls, curriculum materials, and games. And we need funding and mentorship. So, if you're interested in being part of our project or know other after-school programs, please come and talk to me or Shuruk after this panel. Finally, while my childhood was overshadowed by political instability and violence, I don't want to deny the next generation peace and hope. We are the future, and we will never give up. Toda. Thank you.